really important thing to do when you're going through a phase of feeling sadness or really low moods is to take inventory a little bit of what's going on internally. Sometimes I'm absolutely not in a place to do that, and I feel like it can almost make the things I'm feeling feel a lot bigger and feel a lot worse. But when I try to look at it from a very just analytical perspective of what's going on inside my brain, I think it can really help to validate the things that you're feeling and then kind of almost give you permission to not have to live in that anymore. There's a therapist who I follow who I love. His name is Flynn Skidmore. Great name. And right now I'm doing a 7-day course that he has. It's free. I'll link his Instagram down below because even just on his Instagram page he has so much good information. He talks a lot about like reworking the patterns in your brain, especially unconscious ones. So this course is all about like identifying unconscious wounds and creating new like pathways in your brain. I've only done 1 day so far, so I really need to catch up because yesterday was day 4. So I need to make sure that I have all the information I need when I don't have access to this anymore. So let's do day 2 together.
One pattern that you would like to begin to change in our process together. Everything in your life is an indication of what your unconscious currently perceives to be safe. Not fully leaning into relationships, intimate relationships with people. You might be afraid of closeness, so the underlying pattern is fear there. That's what your unconscious perceives to be safe, and it's what's familiar. So our task is to create a new version of safety.
I think I can almost guarantee that if you are struggling with some summertime sadness, that you probably have some laundry to do, and you probably have a lot of cups in your bedroom. Just admit it, I know you do. So together, let's put a load of laundry on. Just one. Pick all of your favorite things that are dirty. Put those in a load. And then let's get all the dirty dishes at least out of our bedroom. Not only that, but when you take them out of your bedroom, wash them. Don't just leave them by the kitchen sink. Wash them. Having a clean space is really important for me to be able to have a clean feeling mind. And I don't always kind of follow that philosophy. I go through phases where I'm really on top of things, and then it's kind of its own messed up little cycle where I'll just get lazy and I don't want to clean things up, and then my mental health starts to feel like it's deteriorating. It could be for other factors. It could be because my space is messy and I feel cluttered in my mind. On the flip side of that, when an external factor is impacting my mental health that I have no control over, or I'm just hit with these like bouts of really low moods, the first thing that starts slipping is my physical environment. So if I can keep on top of that, it doesn't necessarily make the issues go away, but it helps me a lot to feel like something is in control and that I'm just maintaining my head above water, you know? The way that I kind of try to tackle this when I've been letting my space slip into messy oblivion, which has been happening recently, is I like to just start with one type of thing at a time or one area at a time. Taking out any garbage and dirty dishes in my room is the way that I usually like to start, because those things are actually dirty. Loose papers and receipts, whatever, those aren't dirty. They're not like a health hazard or anything, but it is technically garbage. And why do you want to look at garbage? You know, when you really look at it that way, it almost feels demeaning to yourself that you would allow garbage to pile up in the space that you sleep. Like, I understand, I have my raccoon girl tendencies. Like, I am a rat sometimes. So this is not an attack on people having garbage in their bedrooms, because I understand you. But you have to look at it as a favor that you're doing to yourself, not something that you're doing out of shame or judgment. Don't internalize it, even though I basically just called you a rat. We can be rats together, but we can be mentally healthy rats, and we can be kind to ourselves. So even though you let the garbage pile up, pile it up in a garbage bag. Another way that I really like to come at cleaning my space if I'm feeling really overwhelmed is I like to just start by cleaning off flat surfaces, or even just cleaning off one flat surface. If you have like a clothes chair in your bedroom or your closet or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, the chair that sits there and you don't use it, you just throw crap on it. Yes, I have one too. If you have one of those, clean that off. If you have a bedside table, clean that off. That is the number one place that I like to start when I'm doing surfaces, because it's the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning and the last thing I see when I go to sleep at night. I think the crows are telling me it's fall. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful, crisp, chilly, breezy, autumnal feeling day outside. It's only August 19th, but it genuinely feels like jacket, boots, scarf weather outside. I am so excited. The next 3 days are supposed to feel just like this. So I thought we should get into the fall spirit together. Today I'm going to a yarn tent sale with a friend of mine, which I think is going to be really fun. Again, very cozy. I've recently gotten into knitting, like actually gotten into knitting, not just starting a project and then unraveling it, and then the next time I go to pick up knitting I forget how to do it. That's kind of my pattern of knitting throughout the past few years, but I think I've actually solidified this as a hobby now. So I'm really excited to look at some yarns. I'm trying to be very selective about the yarns that I buy so that I'm not just like overwhelming myself with a bunch of new supplies for something, because if you do any sort of like hobby, creative hobby, whatever, anything that requires supplies and materials, you probably know how easy it is to get overwhelmed. Like I have this problem with my fabric stash, and so I'm trying to not allow myself to do that with yarn. So I'm only really buying yarn that I actually am doing a project for right away. And the one thing that I really want to make is a big scarf. Like not with a chunky yarn, because I don't like that feeling of wearing that as much, but just actually big in dimensions. I kind of want to do a striped pattern. I'm not sure colors I want. I don't know. I'm also trying to only get natural fibers, so hopefully there will be some options for me. I'm also very excited to get dressed today because I've also recently thrifted some really fun pieces for fall that will just be like complete beautiful staples in my wardrobe forever. So I'm very excited about that. I'm going to film a thrift haul later this week, but you will get a sneak peek in this video of some of the pieces probably, because I think I'm gonna wear one of the skirts today. I also really want to go to a bookstore, which I might do today before we go shopping for yarn, because this weather, there's nothing I want to do more than browse around a bookstore when it's this chilly and beautiful outside. All right, let's get ready for the day. The skirt that I'm wearing today is one of the things that I thrifted. It's this really fun denim. It's kind of high-waisted with these like slightly ruffled tiers going down, and it's basically full length with like a cozy sweater like this. This is just like such a perfect fall outfit. I'm gonna leave my hair drying in braids while I drive, and then hopefully it'll be nice and wavy when I let them out. But so far, I'm loving this cozy outfit. I could not be comfier. I'm almost ready to head out, and I'm just packing my bag. And I think I'm gonna pack a book with me just in case I'm like sitting and waiting or something. And I think what I'm gonna bring is Cold Clay, the second Shady Hollow mystery. These books, this is the first one, Shady Hollow. These books are like actually a warm hug. Like, if you want the most cozy, wholesome, like, just, they're just beautiful. They're so, so fun. They are woodland themed murder mysteries, so all of the characters in them are actually animals. And I'm so not someone that I would think that concept would be actually interesting to read. Like, I think it's cute and everything, but I wouldn't think that I could stick through a whole novel about it. But you do just get attached to them. They're so charming, so cute. And so this one takes place, I think, in the summertime, and then Cold Clay is the second one, and this takes place in fall. So I'm very excited. I might stick this in my bag. But I don't know. I kind of want to save it for when it's like actually a little bit more fall outside. So maybe I'll go with something else. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking myself out of it. Do you care? I don't know. Okay, I take it back because I do want to save that. I just started skimming the first few pages and I was like, I need to actually read this in like fall. So I think instead I'm going to bring the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I started this book like over a year ago probably, and I've got like halfway through it. I got kind of bored of this one, and so I just put it down, and I do want to finish it. I just finished the Netflix series. I binged it in one day, and I really, really loved it. So I think that fresh in my mind might give me a little bit more motivation to finish this. I also really want to read the most recent book Holly Jackson came out with. I don't remember what it's called, but it looks really, really good. You know what we need to do? I thought I would show you everything that I've bought. It's all very related to like cozy hobbies. Yesterday I went to a yarn tent sale with a few friends and I picked up only one type of yarn, but it's this really gorgeous like crimson colored merino wool. This is so soft, and it's a really nice lightweight. So I think what I'm gonna do with these is make a pair of mittens. I've never made mittens before, and that's kind of like my knitting goal. I don't really have very many like huge aspirations when it comes to knitting. Like, I don't need to make like a cable knit sweater or anything crazy like that. I just really want to make a pair of mittens. I know it can't actually be that hard, but for me, with where my skill level is at with knitting right now, I think it would take some mental gymnastics, but I'm willing to try. The next thing I got was some new stationery because I'm just feeling all those back to school vibes right now. I wanted to treat myself to a few markers. I've been really loving writing with the Sharpie like fine point markers, but they're just a little bit too heavy for the notebook I use, and they have that like really strong Sharpie smell to them, which my head just feels like it's so sensitive to. So I don't like that, and I don't like how they bleed through the pages of my notebook. And so I wanted to get some lighter markers and in different colors. And they had these ones, which are from Stabilo. They were buy 3, get 2 free. They were $2 each, which I feel like for a nice marker is actually pretty good. So I got 5 of them for $6. I got a really nice like charcoal gray, a chocolatey brown sort of color. This one is like a really dark green, and then like a burnt orangey brown, and then again that same color of the yarn, like this really pretty crimson color, which I'm obsessed with right now. I've already tried writing with these and they are beautiful. So to go along with my new markers, I also had to pick up a new notebook. These are my favorite notebooks. They're by Artist Loft, which I think is Michael's own brand. I have another one that's a little bit smaller than this one, but it's almost done, and I use it for everything, like kind of like practical sort of stuff, like not journaling, but it's just used as like a notebook for schedules and all that kind of boring stuff. And so I thought I would get this one in this really gorgeous eggplant kind of color, and I might start actually journaling again, using this for like actually enjoyable writing, because I haven't done that in a very long time. Journaling used to be such an everyday part of my life, and then I kind of just stopped somewhere along the way, and I want to pick that back up. I also had a 40% off coupon, so I'm very happy about that. That's how I was able to justify this. It's not like it's that expensive. It came out to be like $8, but let me show you all of the beautiful features of this book. They have this elastic band on all the different sizes of these notebooks, which I really like. I don't know why. It's not like it needs to be kept from flying open, but it just feels more secure that way. But then what this one has that the other size doesn't is this little elastic here, so that you can take your pen and you can slide it in like that, which I love. I've never had a notebook that has one of these, and I'm like weirdly so excited about it. And then I didn't even realize it has a table of contents when you open it, and I'm probably not going to use the table of contents, but I do think it's kind of fun, because then all of the pages, you probably can't see that because it's really light, but they're numbered. I've never had a notebook with numbered pages, so that's really cool. And this is technically, I guess, a bullet journal, which is what I really like writing in. Like, I know there's a whole community of bullet journaling. I don't do anything actually the way you're supposed to do it, I guess. I just prefer writing on pages like this because they look blank, but they actually have lines that you can follow. So that is my criteria for a good notebook, and these fit that. But next I went to HomeSense and I treated myself to a fall puzzle because I've always wanted one. Every year I see them and I can't actually pull the trigger. And so this year I finally did. This is a 500 piece puzzle, which is kind of what I like to do. I don't really love committing to a giant jigsaw puzzle unless it's like the middle of winter and I don't even leave my house. And so it's this really, really gorgeous fall street scene. I think it's so cute. Like this specifically, cityscape in the fall time, this is actually my dream puzzle. So this is from Gallison. I've never heard of that brand before, but if you want to find it, it's called Autumn in the Neighborhood. I think I might crack this open today. I don't know. Okay, now it's time to talk books. I have a lot. I think I'll do this in the order that I've bought them. These aren't all fall specific. In fact, probably very few of them are, but they're all very like atmospheric, or they're mysteries, or kind of just like things that you would feel good reading in the fall, but it's not a literal fall setting. Next book that I got, I just picked up at a little thrift store yesterday, and it is Wildwood by Colin Malloy. I've heard a lot of really good things about this book, and then after I got it, I went on Goodreads and heard a lot of bad things about this book, so I don't know. I think the main thing is that this says it's for ages 9 and up, and it's actually a lot more like graphic than maybe what someone that age should be reading. But I am 26, so you know, I think I can handle it. But basically this is like, from what I'm gathering, sort of like a Chronicles of Narnia kind of vibe, but set in Portland, Oregon, which I think sounds really interesting. And I believe, from what I could tell skimming the first few pages, it feels like it's going to be a good fall book. So I'm excited about this, and I'm just obsessed with the cover. The next few books that I got were also thrifted. So this is Mrs. March by Virginia Fieto. I don't know how to say her name, but that is how it's spelled. I love the cover of this. Something I read online said that it was very reminiscent of like 1960s sort of high society kind of vibes, which I think is just a great setting. The front of this said it is classy and creepy. That's how I feel sometimes. That just sounds perfect to me. This is about a woman whose husband is a very famous author. He comes out with a new book, and someone puts it in Mrs. March's mind that the main character of his book is based off of her, his wife. I think that's what it's about. The back kind of confused me a little bit. I believe that's what it's about, and then basically she kind of just spirals into madness. A vicious, gorgeous thriller written in silver polished sentences. That sounds like a fun time. What's next? Okay, the next book is Mr. Flood's Last Resort. I really, really love the cover of this, and of course that's why I picked it up. That's what drew me to it. This is by Jess Kidd, and it sounds like it's kind of part mystery, part kind of heartwarming literary fiction. I really can't gather what the vibe of this book is. It says it's a spellbinding tale of a lonely caregiver and a cranky hoarder with a house full of secrets. So it's this really happy-go-lucky caregiver who befriends, I think, her neighbor, who's this crotchety old man who's also a hoarder, and he has this big mansion that's very eerie and full of interesting artifacts. His son is kind of threatening to put him into long-term care, and so she helps him kind of get his house in order so that he can prove that he's able to take care of his space and stay in his house. And then it kind of, I think, turns into a bit of a mystery where she's trying to figure out if there's more to this man than what she thinks she knows. It sounds like the atmosphere is going to be impeccable. I love a big old decaying manor house in a book. The next book that I picked up at the thrift store I had seen at Indigo a while ago, and I remember taking a picture of it because I thought it sounded interesting, but I didn't want to pay for it at that moment, so I was really happy when I found it at the thrift store, and it's The White Hair by Jane Johnson. This is another one that, like, the premise sounds a little bit like I'm not getting it, but sometimes I think those are the best books that don't actually give away too much plot. This takes place in like a seaside town in England, I think, and it's a mother, her daughter, and the daughter's daughter. So 3 generations move into this house, and I think the mother is wanting to renovate it and turn it into like an event venue. Basically all I'm gathering from this is that there's like legends of a white hare that goes through the forest. Is it an ill omen or a blessing? Just look at how stunning the cover is. Like that looks like a cozy read. And then this morning I did go to the bookstore because I just felt like in this weather I couldn't not. But I picked up this book that looks really, really good. It's called Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. Beautiful cover, first of all. Okay, this copy of the book doesn't actually have a full synopsis on it. This is a YA book, first of all, I do know that. It takes place in an Anishinaabe community, I think. I don't think there's a murder in this, but there could be. And then there's something to do with our main character starts working with the FBI to get to the root of this new drug that is being brought into their community. I don't have my phone with me, so I can't look it up, but something along the lines of that. It sounds like a really good mystery and obviously very important kind of story. So I'm excited to read it. And then I picked up this book as well. It was on clearance, and it's it's A Wild Winter Swan by Gregory Maguire. This is a book that takes place in the winter. From what I gathered in the first page, it's like Christmas time, so I think I'm going to save this for a few months. It takes place in New York in the winter, which is just an impeccable setting. And it's about a girl who I think falls in love with a boy that's like on her rooftop or something, who's half boy, half swan. I don't know. It's sounding a lot weirder as I'm saying it. The back of the book wasn't really giving me enough, so then one of the quotes that I read inside said, "This is a novel that is meant to be read in a book nook with thick socks and a winter sweater. It is a very comfortable read where moments of stress and sadness bloom into scenes of real mystery and beauty. A Wild Winter Swan is unlike anything I have read in a long time in its intimacy, simplicity, and welcoming solace." That sounded intriguing. I'm really enjoying right now, as you can tell with these 2 books, not really knowing very much as I go into a book. I don't want to be able to predict the plot as I'm going, you know? So these two books, I'm really excited because I honestly don't know that much. I kind of just went off of what I felt from the tiny bit I remember.